What it do, crypto fam? Happy Saturday. Hopefully you're stacking them sats. In today's show, we'll be discussing the Bitcoin price would have retested 25,000 if the Silvergate saga didn't happen. I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. And this just in breaking news, the mayor of Lugano, Switzerland says, we want to be a center of excellence for Bitcoin, keeping in mind over 150 businesses already accept Bitcoin there. Also in today's show, Jack Dorsey's TBD launches C equals to improve the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Also, check it out. The court dismisses tax fraud charges against the one and only Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy. I'll be breaking this down for you, as well as Xapo Bank becomes the first lender to enable near instant Bitcoin payments. That's right. We'll also be discussing how the Bitcoin price action will moon during a potential oil crisis, according to the ex-BitMEX CEO, Arthur Hayes, as well as strategists who accurately predicted the 2022 Bitcoin bottom. Details when to expect the next massive Bitcoin rally. I'll also be sharing with you that the next top at $200,000 per Bitcoin is inevitable with a floor price at $100,000. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And today's episode is brought to you by the top crypto exchange in the world, Binance. Why I recommend them? Well, they offer free Bitcoin trading. Free trading on Bitcoin's most common pairs, such as against stablecoins, etc., truly making it a no-brainer. And if you use my referral link in the description below, you can claim your bonus of up to $600. And if you're a Binance US user, as I am, make sure to use my Binance US link to take advantage of that promotion, along with all the incentives. And let's get this crypto, shall we? And welcome everyone just tuning in. This is pod episode number 1210. I'm your host, JV, and today is Saturday, March 4th, 2023. Checking out the market here, we can check out Coin 360. You can see we're currently experiencing a bit of a pullback. As you can see here, sorry for the delay, we're trading at 22.3, barely in the red for the day, with Ethereum down 0.13%, trading just above $1,500. Binance Coin in the green, along with XRP, Cardano, and AVAX. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we can check out the current crypto market cap, hovering just above $1 trillion, which is a milestone, with about 29 billion in volume, which is pretty low for the past 24 hours, with Bitcoin dominance barely back on the rise at 42.1%. And the Ether dominance at 18.7%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, TWT up 6%, trading at $1.38, followed by Synthetics up 5%, trading just under $3, followed by Neo, and I'm not talking about Neo from the Matrix, up 5% for the day, trading at $12.17. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we can see only a handful actually in the green, which include TWT, Neo, SNX, and XRP. The rest, as you can see, pretty mostly losses for the altcoin market. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, one of my favorite indicators. You can see we're currently rated a neutral, 50, which is the same as yesterday. Last week was a 52 in neutral as well. And last month, a 60 in greed. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear is a sign investors are too worried, which can be a great buying opportunity, aka BTFD. Buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. So there you have it. Welcome to everyone just tuning in. Now let's check out the charts and see what's happening with the Bitcoin price action here on Saturday. Check it out. Bitcoin stayed lower into the weekend as ongoing problems at the Silvergate Bank pressured the markets. Here looking at the Bitcoin one-day candle chart, Cointelegraph Markets Pro and Trading View showed Bitcoin lingering at around 22,350 today, which is currently right where we're at. Bitcoin managed to avoid further losses after the initial shock around Silvergate, wiped literally 5% off the spot price in minutes. In fact, we witnessed over 200 million in long liquidations just like that. And with the U.S. equities delivering a strong finish to the week, Bitcoin and alts were unable to capitalize on what traders argued would normally be an opportunity for gains. Quoting Ted's Talk Macro, most global equity indices have now printed higher lows. If it weren't for the Silvergate fears, Bitcoin would be primed to breach the highs above 25,000 next week. I agree. Let me know if you agree with the analysts. And quoting Mikhail Van de Pop, Bitcoin dropped from 23.8 to 22.3, while the Nasdaq and S&P were making strong bounces. Matter of time until Bitcoin catches up. Now, a failed attempt by the US dollar to head higher form yet another potential tailwind for crypto, but this is still untapped as the week's trading concluded. As Kevin Crates points out here, DXY one-day chart, the daily is reaching a tough spot for crypto, testing a Kumo cloud breakout a few days in a row here. A break above the crypto likely will go into the bearish trend for a bit. Rejection still possible here, but more volatility ahead for Bitcoin and alts while in the range. So there you have it. And now let's dive a little deeper into Silvergate, which halted its institutional fiat settlement arm, the Silvergate Exchange Network, on March 3rd, just yesterday, as concerns about bankruptcy multiplied. Not a good look. As some proposed alternatives for exchanges, others regretted the bank's downfall and hoped that the situation would improve. Bitcoin advocate Nick Carter said that he had always respected Silvergate for being unapologetically pro-crypto when virtually no one else was. Sad to see their current predicament. Hope they make it through to the other side, he shared. The stock of Silvergate Capital closed the week at record lows, at one point trading below $5, and at its peak during the 2021 Bitcoin all-time high, it traded above $150. Check out this chart. It looks like just another altcoin chart such as FTT. And for some breaking news, the mayor of Lugano, Switzerland says we want to be the center of excellence for Bitcoin, with now over 150 businesses already accepting Bitcoin over there as the mass adoption continues. Let's get it. Now let's discuss the latest what's happening with the Bitcoin Lightning Network and Jack Dorsey, as he just rolled out something about to launch. That's right, TBD, a division of Block, formerly Square, led by Jack Dorsey, launched a new venture named C, which is to improve the Bitcoin Lightning Network through tools and services. The Lightning Network, as we know, is a two-layer payment protocol built to ease the mainstream adoption of the King crypto by enabling faster, cheaper, and more reliable peer-to-peer payments. However, C equals to aim further to reach Lightning Network through added liquidity and routing services. Since its launch, the Lightning Network liquidity and capacity witnessed organic growth via real-world adoption, and in addition, services like C equal offer incremental upgrades to support the ongoing Bitcoin adoption globally. Now, through liquidity, services, and infrastructure, C equals caters to wallet users, businesses, and Lightning node operators for faster and cheaper payments. Here's what the official announcement had to share. We want to meet you where your Lightning needs are. Are you a business looking to accept Lightning payments? A wallet in need of channels or inbound for your customers? A hardened plebnet veteran looking for your next big source? Now, layer 2 services, collectively improving Bitcoin operations, make it easier for people to adopt the ecosystem into their lives. If you want to accept Bitcoin as a payment for your services, you can read Cointelegraph's guide on how to get paid in BTC. Now, Jack Dorsey's popular payments venture, Cash App, recently integrated crypto tax and accounting software, TaxBit, into its services. The move allows Bitcoin users an easy way to report taxes, and as previously reported, Cash App launched its Bitcoin trading services back in 2018 and rolled out Bitcoin deposits the following year. The company claims to have had over 10 million Bitcoin users. I'm pretty stoked. Anytime I hear Lightning Network, I get excited because, as you know, it allows instantaneous and virtually free Bitcoin payments peer-to-peer, including all around the world, which gets me very excited. So much wishing Dorsey much success with the new project. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. And with that being shared, remember a breaking story a few months ago that the regulators or the authorities were going after Michael Saylor for tax evasion? Well, guess what? Those charges just got dismissed, which is pretty cool. So let me actually break this down for you. The latest what's happening with Saylor. The Superior Court of the District of Columbia dismissed a civil complaint against American business intelligence company MicroStrategy, which alleged that the firm helped its co-founder Saylor evade income tax payments. According to a recent filing, Saylor and MicroStrategy filed a motion to dismiss the complaint in October, and the court ruled in favor of the request on February 28th. Recall that in August, the Washington District Columbia, through its Attorney General's office, sued Saylor for evading income taxes for more than 10 years and MicroStrategy for helping a Bitcoin proponent in the act. Now, Crypto Potato reported that the case, which was the first under DC's just amended False Claims Act, sought payments of up to $25 million in income tax owed to undisclosed amounts of treble damages, civil penalties, and other reliefs. Saylor was accused of claiming to live in Florida, the state void of income taxes, or no income taxes, I guess, in Florida, but residing in D.C. The complaint allege he secured a driver's license and registered to vote in Florida to pose as a resident there. Meanwhile, the former CEO maintained his D.C. residence for at least 183 days in taxable years. Now, 183 days meaning the bulk of the year, as that's virtually 6 months out of the year. Now, the publicly traded company was accused of knowing about Saylor's false claims as a Florida resident and helping him substantiate them. Now, after the lawsuit was filed, Saylor and his company filed a motion requesting that the court dismiss both complaints against them. The court has now ruled to squash the charges against MicroStrategy. I love to hear that. Shout out to Saylor. The court also noted the charges against Saylor were not dismissed, and the former CEO is scheduled to go on trial March 10th, quoting them here. The court did not dismiss claims against Saylor, alleging that Mr. Saylor failed to pay personal income taxes, interest, and penalties due. A status conference in the case is scheduled for March 10th, which is 6 more days. I guess that's going to be on Friday. The final outcome of this matter is not presently determinable, the filing stated. So there you have it. They released the charges and dismissed against MicroStrategy, but they did not release it against Saylor itself. So that's going to happen on Friday of next week. So I'll keep you posted with how that likely plays out. And next, let's dive into the latest of what's happening with Xapo. As they become the first lender to enable near-instant Bitcoin payments thanks to the Lightning Network. They announced it integrated with Lightning Network and formed a partnership with Lightspark. This collaboration will make the organization the first private bank to accept Bitcoin Lightning payments using a complete license. And according to a press release, Xapo Bank users can now pay instantly for minor purchases up to $100 at any vendor accepting Lightning payments without incurring exuberant transaction fees or lengthy blockchain confirmation wait times. Xapo intends for the integration to bridge the gap between traditional finance and cryptocurrency. The platform currently offers a yearly interest rate of 4.1% on US dollars and accounts with a deposit guarantee of $100,000 and will eventually offer up to 1% on Bitcoin. Now, Seamus Raka, the CEO of Xapo Bank, shared the following regarding the partnership. By integrating with the hyper-efficient Lightning Network, we are the first bank in the world to streamline this process and allow our members to pay for small purchases with Bitcoin without having to convert to USD first. Now, here's how the Lightning Network works. The Lightning Network, as we know, is a second layer scaling solution for Bitcoin and other cryptos designed to address the scalability issues on the Bitcoin blockchain, which is limited in number of transactions it can process per second. It allows for faster, cheaper, and more private transactions than on-chain transactions. Lightning Network, looking underneath the hood, laid out for you right here, is built on top of the Bitcoin blockchain and uses smart contracts to create payment channels between users. These payment channels allow users to transact without the need for each transaction to be recorded on the blockchain. Instead, only the opening and closing transactions of the channel are recorded on the blockchain. To use the Lightning Network, two users must open a payment channel between them by creating a multi-signature transaction on the blockchain. Once the channel is open, they can transact with each other by exchanging signed transactions off-chain. Each transaction updates the balances of the channel, and the final balances are recorded on the blockchain when the channel is closed. Now, Xapo has received a banking license, primary membership with Visa and MasterCard, and SWIFT membership since initiating the process back in 2019. This means that the company can interact directly with correspondent banks as opposed to going through payment businesses or other parties, and has access to money market accounts. Now, Raka stressed the significance of the newly formed collaboration in light of the regulatory pressures currently exerted on crypto exchanges, yield-generating products, as well as stablecoins. I think it is a great sign for Bitcoin adoption, and it's much needed. And I hope other major banks are to follow in their footsteps, especially after what we're witnessing in real time with Silvergate and it collapsing, you feel me? But with that being shared, now let's break down the latest with predictions from Arthur Hayes, the ex-BitMEX CEO. Then I'll be breaking down some very bullish price predictions for the King Crypto. So here we go. BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes, Crypto Hayes, published an essay on Thursday outlining realistic potential situations which could make oil prices boom and make Bitcoin's price skyrocket. As a result, the former CEO argued that such a scenario could spur central banks across the world, including the Fed, to return to a market-friendly loose monetary policy. In a blog post titled The Curveball, Hayes described three possible futures that can lead to an oil supply shortage across the globe, given the current state of geopolitical tensions. For example, Iran could escalate its conflict with Israel and Saudi Arabia by closing the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's largest oil choke points between the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. Now, alternatively, large oil producers, including Russia, Saudi Arabia, etc., could materially reduce their oil production, or critical oil gas infrastructure could take offline due to their deliberate sabotage. Hayes determined that the first scenario would be most likely, since Iran's uranium enrichment could motivate Israel and Saudi Arabia to take military action against the Iranians, and by closing the strait, Iran would remove a whopping 17.3 million barrels per day from the global markets, making a marginal cost per barrel extremely expensive. Now, as a net importer of oil, the U.S. consumers would ultimately have to pay that price. To remedy the issue, the country would likely start drilling into its own untapped oil reserves to bring prices back down again, an extremely capital-intensive endeavor. Quoting him here, the only way the U.S. is going to get more oil domestically is by encouraging domestic companies to raise CAPEX, which will necessitate higher borrowing, said Hayes. This is why I believe that the Fed would have to lower interest rates and loosen financial conditions in such a situation. Now let's discuss Bitcoin going to the moon as a result. Lower interest rates are widely recognized as bullish for stocks and crypto alike. Bitcoin soared as high as 69,000 back in November of 2021 when the Fed's policy rate was at just 0.25%, but dropped to as low as 15.5 after 12 months as the Fed raised its rate throughout the year, explained Hayes, quoting him here. At the amount of fiat rises alongside inflation for the plebs of the world, monetary instruments with a fixed supply like Bitcoin, by definition, become more valuable in fiat money terms. Facts. Now, the co-founder added that Bitcoin could even decouple from equities at this time, with which it remained highly correlated for years. And with that being said, rising oil prices could also put additional strain on the Bitcoin mining industry, which only recently returned to an average position of profit thanks to Bitcoin's rising price. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Crypto Hayes. And now let's break down our next story of the day. Strategist, who accurately predicted the 2022 Bitcoin bottom, details when to expect the next massive Bitcoin rally. And I share with you this 200,000 prediction with a floor for the King Crypto of above 100,000. Closely followed crypto analyst who nailed the 2022 bottom for Bitcoin predicts when the King Crypto could possibly turn a corner and rally. The analyst, honestly known as Don Alt, tells his 500,000 Twitter followers that the legacy asset markets are having a bearish effect on Bitcoin. According to Don Alt, Bitcoin could rally once the traditional markets turn bullish. As he points out here, Bitcoin is being dragged by the traditional markets by refusing to make new lows while the S&P is bleeding out. The moment the traditional markets bounce, I'm expecting a massive outperformance green candle from Bitcoin. Now, Don Alt also updated his outlook, saying that his view still holds, even though Bitcoin was mostly flat yesterday while the stock market rallied big. However, he notes that Bitcoin's less than stellar reaction to the stock market bounce is not optimal. Meanwhile, synonymous trader Altcoin Sherpa is of the view that Bitcoin will likely see more downside price action, and according to the trader, Bitcoin could witness another sell-off event before igniting a recovery. Quoting him here, Bitcoin, it's possible we're seeing a higher low being formed now, but I don't really think so. I think that we're going to see another leg down. Note, I still think we go to $30,000 per coin in the midterm. Sherpa also says that it is within the realm of possibility for Bitcoin to go through an extended bear winter. Quoting him again, Bitcoin, some mark the top as May 2021, others mark it at November of 2021. Either way, it's been a long time during this Bitcoin bear market, and there is likely to be much longer before the Bitcoin price truly bottoms out. So there you have it. Let me know if you feel that the bottom is currently in, or do you think we're likely test lower? Let me know. And quoting TA Trader Allen, well-structured pattern has been shown here on the Bitcoin Heikin Ashi M2 chart. Between each halving, Bitcoin prints a set of red candles to complete the macro pullback and finds the bottom and starts yet a new bull run. The next top is 200,000, which is inevitable with the floor Bitcoin price at $100,000 per coin. And as outlined in this chart, you can see the previous halvings from 2012, 2016, and 2020, with the next halving estimated to projected to be around the corner in 2024, probably in the first quarter, definitely within the first half, and typically it's the year following the halving when we reach the height of the cycle. So he's ultimately saying we're going to surpass $200,000 after the next halving, but we will maintain above 100,000 as a bottom. So kind of like 100,000 being the new 20,000 floor. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this chart and this analyst. And with that being shared, now let's dive into the live Q&A. Welcome everyone just tuning in. I appreciate all the support as always. J-Dub the Laker, Megadon, we got Bring Facts, we got Sailing with Twins, we got Jim Junkie Crypto, we got Steve Kingston. Good to see y'all, fam. Digital Dankness, always a pleasure. Raven, good morning, welcome. Bitcoin Maximus, Barry, good to see you as well. Juan Romero, good to see you. And I'm going to scroll to the top. We've got quite a lot of chat, which I love to see. I bet money if the people that got robbed by FTX got their coins back, Bitcoin would skyrocket, but the fear of corrupt exchanges is suppressing the price action, says Digital Dankness. I feel you, man. I feel the same way. He also says, I'm still buying because we all know Bitcoin will be our saving grace to remove the true corruption, governments and banks, etc. Preach. And Satoshi, I trust. I bought this freaking dip. And will the next if it dips, says Sailing with Twins. That's what's up. Shout out to South Africa. Do some research on SafePal hard wallet and let me know what you think. Okay, I've been seeing it a lot lately and it looks like it could be promising. I have an Elipol Titan and I love it. Word up. These are wallets I'm not too familiar with. Maybe JB can ask viewers in the Q&A later. Absolutely. If anyone has any experience with these wallets or if you've checked them out, let me know. Yeah, Barry says hodl hodl. Stop working at 2030. That's my dream. I believe in you, Barry. Keep stacking them stats. I believe Bitcoin can more than likely be above 7 figures by the year 2030, especially considering it's 2 more halvings away. You know what I mean? From cold storage, I gain sats from stacking. That's what's up, Dankness. Keep stacking them. Jeff S., good morning to you as well. Self-custody is the way to go, absolutely. Even those using exchanges, I suggest, of course, Binance is the best exchange out there. I highly recommend it. I have a referral link in the description below. Take advantage of it. Claim those bonuses. However, after you make your trade and finish executing it, move your crypto to cold storage. It's the safest, the only safe haven spot because at the end of the day, if your crypto is on a centralized exchange, you don't own that crypto. That's just how it is. The exchange owns your crypto. So if something, God forbid, happened to the exchange, who knows what could happen. We've already seen what can potentially happen with FTX collapsing, defrauding investors out of over $10 million. And they were regulated, having meetings with the SEC behind closed doors. So I can only imagine this could happen to any exchange. That's why safety, protect your crypto. Don't leave it on the exchanges and, just rely on someone else being a self-custodian of your crypto. That's my best advice I can give everyone here. Cryptos such as Ethereum were designed to operate as decentralized networks and digital currencies, which means they are not backed by any government or financial institution, says Jeff. However, there is an Ethereum foundation, and unfortunately, what if the government put a gun to someone's head inside the Ethereum foundation and told them to make these changes or we're going to kill you? They could make the changes. That's the unfortunate part about this whole thing. We already know how many times do central bankers and government make changes to fiat currency. They have meetings about it like every week. We're going to print $10 more trillion. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So that's what scares me with Ethereum, just keeping it real. But, I pray for the best. I'm still an investor in Ethereum. I'm still optimistic, of course, but you can't compare it to a truly decentralized crypto such as Bitcoin where there's no attack vector. There's no one for the government to go after. There's no third-party organization to shake down. That's what separates it from everything else out there. The regulation not yet been established, a clear regulatory framework for crypto, which has led to uncertainty. That is a fact about how they should be treated under security laws. That is a fact. And it seems that Gensler is very biased. He's claiming all cryptos except Bitcoin are security. And I don't necessarily agree with that, obviously, but that's what the regulators are saying. So it's very interesting. Dankness says, well, proof of stake is the definition of a security. And they are dragging ass like a dog with worms. They are up to no good. I agree with Dankness there. When they switch from proof of work to a proof of stake, that's when I pull back on being so bullish on Ethereum and said, yo, this is not this is not the definition of, obviously it's not decentralized. And it's just another attack vector. It's another reason that they can go after it, and deem it a security. So I don't trust the regulators as far as I can throw them. I don't think they deserve our trust. And especially with such uncertainty in the market, they can continue to manipulate the market and do what they want to do, which is ultimately suppress the price action, in my humble opinion. How are the smartest guys in the crypto market doing today? We are doing great. Appreciate you asking. Clear regulatory framework for crypto needs to be established. The SEC needs to do its part to fix the issue. Facts. But obviously they're suppressing it. They don't want a Bitcoin spot ETF. There's a reason they only allowed a futures ETF. That's because they like manipulation of the market. They don't want trillions that is currently in the sidelines to enter the market yet. They are not ready, or we would have very clear regulation and it would be in black and white. There'd be no gray lines, etc. You know what I mean? I say have less government control and more peer-to-peer networks. Now the SEC doesn't like to hear that, but it's a fact. The government doesn't have our interest in mind. Facts, Dankness. I appreciate you sharing that. I couldn't agree more. Jeff says the SEC has stated that whether a crypto is a security or not depends on specific facts and circumstances of each case. The SEC applies the Howey test to determine whether a particular digital asset is a security. And then they established that Howey test like back in the 1920s or early 19th century. Craziness. You know what I mean? Sounds refreshing. How the Howey test is outdated to be used for crypto. The test needs to be up. Exactly, Dankness. I agree. It's no longer even relevant, especially with digital currencies. We need to replace that ASAP. Want to trade locations for week sailing? I love the time with the CNA fam. Appreciate that, Dankness. We always have the smartest minds bouncing ideas off one another. Stay woke, fam. Much love. Jeff says the Howey test is an investment of money. There is an expectation of profits from the investment. The investment is in a common enterprise. Any money comes from efforts of a promoter or a third party. I'm an outsider when it comes to USA politics, but I can tell you it sounds a whole lot better than here in South Africa, says Sailing. Steve says by 2025, I could afford to do that and bring a bike to the tour area. That's what's up. JV, welcome. The leader of the Brain Trust is in the house. I appreciate that, Steve. Dankness says, Jeff, one Bitcoin will always be worth one Bitcoin, even though we all know there is a dollar value. The Howey test is for assets and stocks, not a peer-based monetary system. You make an excellent point. Jeff responded, the classification of cryptos as securities is a complex issue, and the regulatory landscape is still evolving. Some cryptos may eventually be classified as securities. Many will continue to operate outside traditional security regulations. Good insights. Most of them will move out of the USA. It seems that way. Mass adoption. They're forcing the big players outside the US. Agreed, Jeff. Once they make a test that will value crypto properly, you have some great points. Good conversation there, guys. How does something decentralized move their location? Dan has a great question. Dankness says maybe IP. I can't take all the credit. Thank you, Chat AI, says Jeff. Just location of headquarters like Circle, put it beyond regulation by the SEC. Yeah. Then Dan asks, how does something decentralized have a headquarters? Good point. Does Bitcoin have a headquarters? Absolutely not, because it's truly decentralized. There's levels to this ish. Jeff always used it, but can never retype. Chat ATI is woke, just like the people who wrote the program, and that's hilarious. My headquarters is Me Inc. I only listen to Me Inc. says F1. That's what's up. I appreciate all the likes, and of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications so you're notified when we go live. Steve says some decentralized situations still have major development hubs. There are degrees of decentralized. Exactly. Also, if you have 1,000 nodes and 600 are in the USA, they are vulnerable. Jeff says, good morning. Lay down the facts on this Saturday. Word up. Appreciate you tuning in, Jeff. I hope it is more than one round, so we got some top athletes to prove their worth. Referring to the big heavyweight title on the line tonight in the UFC, Johnny Bones Jones returning after a 3-year hiatus, and he moved up. Instead of fighting at light heavyweight, which he typically does at 210 pounds, he's the undefeated GOAT, never lost, only one DQ due to a certain type of elbow, which should have probably never happened. But nonetheless, he has like 16 title defenses as a light heavyweight, and now he has finally moved up to heavyweight status. I think he's weighing like 265 pounds, so he is a big boy. I predict domination on the ground and ground and pound until it's stopped. That's just my prediction. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I will definitely be tuning in this evening. Welcome, fam. Good to see you bring facts. Good morning, Juan Romero. Always a pleasure. Appreciate y'all. I have been searching for an answer for why cryptocurrency won't or can't register as a security. Chat AI had the answer I was looking for. Word up. All the influencers have millions in shorts open. Please squeeze. That's right. Is anyone else having an issue with Binance US not loading candles? Interesting. I never had that issue personally. Maybe try a different browser, I could suggest, or maybe clearing your cookies and see if that fixes the problem. If not, I would suggest reaching out to their support, or maybe even Googling it and seeing if other people have that same issue and what the solution may be. JV, please ask if anyone uses SafePal hard wallet and what they think. So there you have it. Anyone using the SafePal hard wallet, let me know your thoughts. Juan says, I use Lightning Network on Cash App and it works amazingly. Love to hear that. J-Dub the Laker, good morning, Crypto News Alerts fam. Good vibes from Watts, California. Got nothing but California love for you. West Side. Barry says, last week, no news about El Salvador. What is up there? I've been following Max Kaiser and Stacy, always meeting with the president. They just recently had a meetup. Big things happening in El Salvador. So make sure you're following Nayib Bukele if you're not already, because he's the president of the free world in El Salvador. Also, make sure you're following Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert, and I'm sure they will keep you up to date. I follow them every day. They're the best people to follow. Also, another one, Samson Mao. He knows what's going on as well, so follow those guys. Megadon says, good morning, JV and fam. Back to work after a week break in Palm Springs. Son of a what? Whatever. Just keep hodling DCA into the king of crypto. That's what's up. Welcome back. Glad you had your holiday. The government is more worried about taxing people to death than returning the crypto from FTX. Facts. In fact, they prefer not to return any money. They don't want to protect the investors. They want the investors to lose all their money. That's their goal. Keep you poor and impoverished and a slave. You know what I mean? In the matrix, because then you're easier to control. You know what I mean? That's just the nature. That's why we have Bitcoin. We got to fight back against the forces of evil and their evil CBDCs. You know what I mean? Trying to solve a problem. What to smoke? I have 5 strains to choose from now. 12 more on the way. Decisions. That's a good problem to have. Bring facts. I wish I was in your boat. Steve Kingston says, why Bitcoin was on the ledger in my bike saddlebag. There was a car fire on deck. The fire spread. The ship sank at the bottom. It exploded and severed an underwater power cable. There was an EMP pulse. Oh my God. Sounds like a nightmare many in crypto have experienced with losing their private keys. It happens. Happens to the best of them. Bitcoin is the evaluation of money, property, and all assets. Word up. Probably a snowstorm interfering with the satellite. Be your own bank is too much work and responsibility for most people. Remember, most people are children. That, my friend, is a fact. No argument from me there. And final question we'll ask here, JV, you try Nostr yet? It is awesome. You can zap Satoshis instantly. It's crazy cool. Frictionless payment through Lightning. I see everyone talking about it. I haven't signed up or used it yet, so that's something I probably should do. Would you recommend I do so? Let me know. How long have you been using it? And with that being shared, now let's wrap up with the big finish, a recap of what I covered here in today's show. We discussed the latest technical analysis with the Bitcoin price action would have retested 25,000 if Silvergate saga didn't happen in that major bank crash. We also discussed the mayor of Lugano, Switzerland, says we want to be the center of excellence for Bitcoin, which is great for adoption. Also shared the latest with Jack Dorsey's TBD launching C, which equals to improve the Bitcoin Lightning Network. We also discussed the court dismisses tax fraud charges against Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy, as well as Xapo Bank became the first lender to enable near instant Bitcoin payments. We also discussed how the Bitcoin price action will moon during a potential oil crisis, according to the ex-BitMEX CEO, Arthur Hayes, as well as top crypto strategists who accurately predicted the 2022 Bitcoin bottom, details when to expect the next massive Bitcoin rally, and also shared with you a $200,000 top as the next cycle being inevitable with a floor at $100,000. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the